Welcome to another Walter Football video. I'm Charlie Campbell, Senior Draft Analyst, the most accurate mock drafter in the world. All right, so if you've been on the site, you've seen we've been updating our 2026 prospect rankings. I've been working through some watch list stuff there, studying some of these top players. Last week we hit on Garrett Nussmeier from LSU and Jeremiah Love, the running back from Notre Dame. And so this week, some of the kind of players that I found most interesting, players that I really wanted to watch and study up on were Caleb Downs, the safety from Ohio State, and Denzel Boston, the wide receiver from Washington. Sorry, I've been sick this week, so I've been a little delayed in doing this. My voice was terrible, so my apologies for if I sound like crap, but yeah, summer flus are the worst. Anyways, all right, let's get into Downs because this guy is special, man. He is really a fun player to watch on tape, and I think he has the potential to be one of the best safeties to enter the NFL. Really, I would say over the past decade. This guy, the instincts are just off the charts with him. I mean, you never see a false step in coverage. He is just seems a step ahead of all the players around him in terms of getting in position to be around the ball. Just extremely smart, elite read and react skills. Fabulous tackler, extremely fast. He just covers ground in a blur. Fast in coverage to get over the top on sought passes deep downfield, but then coming downhill, this guy is a blur. Just tremendous dynamite defender for knocking out stretch runs to the perimeter, screens, kind of just anything when they're trying to get along the sideline on a defense. Downs is just such a weapon to snuff it out, and he's tremendous open field tackler. Just flies in, takes the legs out from underneath backs, just dynamite tackling ability. And then I think that's something that's really special because as I think tackling is becoming year after year more of a lost art in the NFL and college football, but especially in the NFL because you've had the players get so much wins in terms of cutting down on the physicality of practices in training camp and during the season. Huge reduction in the amount of OTAs from what it used to be 10, 15 years ago. Reduced contact there. The owners are happy to do away with those kinds of things because they don't want their players getting hurt. But it does lead to reduction in fundamentals because you're not practicing the game as much. So I think the tackling ability is something that is really unique about Downs because he is just phenomenal tackler as an underclassman when going back to the tape at Alabama when he led the team in tackles as a freshman, and then last year at Ohio State when he was tremendous for the Buckeyes there. So but he can play man coverage on slot receivers. He can go man-to-man on tight ends. Brings that ability. I think he can be that deep free safety center fielder. Will be an asset for helping to defend the speed receivers in the NFL. And he's physical and fearless, so I think he can battle the big receivers, even though he's not the biggest of guys. He's also been a guy on special teams that is just dynamic and punt returned with few opportunities, but a punt return for a touchdown at Ohio State and Alabama. So he's not going to be used there in the NFL really because teams are just going to protect him from injury, and not wanting to play him on special teams is going to definitely probably be the case. But he does have that added return ability. Maybe a team might use him in special circumstances in that way. But he has, I think the only knock on him, I would say, is the size is adequate, but he's not big. So He doesn't have Kyle Hamilton's size for the safety position, but he's not, tremendously undersized either. So I think he can probably add a little muscle as he ages in an NFL strength and conditioning program. That's normal for NFL athletes. So he could get a little bit stronger, but he's never going to be a big guy, and he's not going to be diminutive either. So it would not surprise me. This is really surprising to me, but it would not surprise me if I end up having him number one on my initial big board for the 2026 NFL draft, and I can't ever think of a safety that I've had that high entering a season. I think he's probably, I would say right now, I think he'll end up being a better prospect than, say, Malachi Starks, who was a first rounder this year, or Kyle Hamilton, who was a first rounder a few years ago, both to the Ravens. I think teams are just going to love what Downs can do as a run defender and pass coverage. He's just a Swiss Army knife for a defense. I texted a GM about him who's done some sneak peek work on some of the prospects for next year, and he felt that Jamal Adams coming out of LSU was a good comp, and Jamal Adams was a mid-top 10 pick, so you can see that already the buzz is there about Downs being a special player for the NFL. All right, let's get into Boston. So Boston, I feel like looking around, I've kind of felt a little bit on an island because I haven't seen a lot of hype or pub about him. But I thought last year, he was a player that jumped out at me for the 2026 class, and I put him on my watch list. So then when I start the next draft class, I have players to work through. But I thought this guy looked like, kind of in the ballpark of Tat McMillan and Drake London. Mismatched size, big dude, about 6'4", 210, really sure-handed, high points the ball extremely well, shows some suddenness and twitch for a big receiver getting in and out of his breaks. That's always something you have to, big receivers, to be a special player as a big receiver, they got to have that. And I think watching the tape from last year, I saw some of that with Boston. I think he's going to be an excellent red zone weapon. I thought he looked pretty good with some run after the catch ability, toughness. Obviously presents a size mismatch over cornerbacks. So the question is always, with a big receiver, is how well can he separate? So that's what I really want to watch this season here when we get into the games. I want to see how well Boston can separate from man coverage, off man coverage, press man coverage. Does he have enough speed to run away from that? And so, can he get out of his breaks, just enough burst to create separation for a quarterback. It doesn't have to be 5 yards of separation. NFL quarterbacks are a quality NFL quarterback doesn't need that much. They've got to have the accuracy where your receiver gives you a few feet of separation. You can get, a completion there. So definitely that's what I'm going to be watching for this season with Boston. But I want, as you guys know, I always value the opinion of team evaluators over my own. So I reached out to a national scout for an NFC team who's gone through Washington every year, and asked him if he had any initial thoughts on Boston, because he hasn't done a report on him. Obviously, that happens in the fall, but he did. But he's been at practice and games for the Huskies, and he responded in a text that good player, fast enough, really big in person. So that's a positive buzz going into the season, and fast enough, I think. From a scout's perspective, that's valuable information, because he's seen them in practice, seen them in game action live, where I'm just watching a screen, and sometimes there is a discrepancy, I believe. So At any rate, that's what he said about Boston. But I definitely think Boston has early round potential. Would not surprise me if he's a riser through the prospect and process and rising prospect for the next draft with just his ability to be that big possessional receiver. I think he could be an X or a Z receiver, line up on at either of those spots, shows some physicality, can be that third down weapon to move the chains, can get you some big plays in the red zone, and definitely could maybe be that high volume receiver that you're seeing 80, 90, 100 some receptions per season. So I really am intrigued with Denzel Boston going into this season. And obviously I think Downs is just an off the charts talent, just incredible football player, excuse me. So we're going to have more rankings to come this next week. I'm going to be rolling out defensive line and defensive front seven updated rankings. We'll have more prospect previews, updated mock draft coming on Monday morning, just as I get more information from team people and kind of their watch lists and how they look at guys in the preseason. My mock's kind of changing with that, so you're seeing some new additions each week, some guys getting dropped out, some guys rising and sliding, so it's super fluid right now, which is fun and exciting to me. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. Love you guys for watching. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Check out walterfootball.com. Walt has the his season previews going up now. Those are awesome, always a great read. Check those out. All the 32 rookie forecasts got released as well, so that gives you kind of all your preseason reading up, gets you up to date on each team there heading into training camp. So I'll be back with you guys soon. You guys take care. Love to all of you. Peace.